Monday
And
Scrum.
we're back with the scrummages for a Monday. Adam Peacock alongside Aaron Woods. Woodsy, how are you, mate? You're in the James Graham chair. He's had a rare Monday off.
Yes, I am, lad.
Wow.
Just doing my best, mate, boys. Tough loss on the weekend, but always better to see you two dribblers,
Yes.
especially one dribbler next to me.
I was on the hill. There was a Manly fan, a bigger Manly fan than me behind me, who was so heavily invested. And it was a 100% decision against it, 100% right from the ref. And he would just blow his stack saying, the ref's against us. That's
Why I love rookie. They're just loyal supporters out there, whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad, they still support you no matter what.
And Brent Read's here as well, a man of romance. He'd understand my predicament on the weekend. I took my wife to, just without the kids, we went to Brookie, sat on the hill, and she sat right in front of this bloke all
Really?
game.
My wife has hated footy ever since I got involved in footy.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But this year she's turned around a bit. She's actually, because she's in a tipping comp at work,
Right.
and she's actually taken interest now. So I watched all the games on Saturday, and she watched them with me.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
What a lovely moment.
It was very romantic. Yeah.
Nice bottle of wine there, the fireplace on.
Well, I drank a bottle of wine. Fireplace, no fireplace. Not
How we
a
going,
house.
guys? Are we
We're
going
battling.
better than, I don't know, the West Tigers?
Flying then, if you ask me.
I was out there this morning. I sent Woodsy a photo of the
Yeah.
West Tigers while I was out there.
the
Said
old-
your old stomping ground.
I didn't reply because we're going through that RPA thing at the moment.
Oh,
but,
no, you can talk today.
Reedy's just dribbling.
You're allowed to talk today.
Yes. It's a regular meter gig that he's got.
No, he's allowed. You're allowed to talk Monday,
It was
Tuesday.
funny. Reedy said this as a picture of, it was when I was there, it was a lot different to what the complex
Yeah,
was.
I know.
What on earth is going on? Like, seriously, Reedy,
Where do we start?
we start with the fact that this is my thoughts over the weekend, that we're hearing about meetings before they've happened. Like, what the
but
hell?
the other thing is certain people aren't involved.
Yeah, but I can
happen.
sort of understand Tim not being involved because the issue isn't.
Yeah, but he's the head coach, Reedy.
Yeah, but the issue is Benji and Scott because Benji's doing
Scott Fulton, Benji Marshall.
Scott Fulton
Yep.
because Benji's doing a lot of the recruiting now because obviously they're planning for when he takes over. In
Yeah,
a
but I
year's
heard
time.
he has decisions for everything when he's in the coaching role for that 3-year period. Tim's still coaching
I
next
think
year.
Tim's giving him a lot of control over the team. And
Well, you can tell that
recruitment
game
for
day,
next
he's
year.
sitting in the back.
Yeah. And watching training yesterday, Benji's heavily involved, basically running the show, playing halfback in the opposition team, doing all that sort of stuff. So Benji's very much got his hands on the wheel. I think Tim's just there almost to be the guy who takes the bullets to protect Benji. But Benji's certainly knee deep in it all, and that's why they need to resolve this issue between him and Scott Fulton because they need to work together. And if they can't work together, one has to go.
But back to the
Why
earlier
things
point.
are getting out.
Why?
Yeah, but,
like, what good
the
can
club-
come of the fact that
The
The
club
good is that Reedy gets more clicks for his articles.
But in their defence, right, the club cops a lot of flack for this sort of stuff, but it's not always the club.
No,
There are
true.
other people around the game. There's agents involved in this situation, and sometimes they're happy to release information that helps their cause. So I have a little bit of sympathy for the Tigers in
But
that
you know what,
respect.
Reedy? The thing is, it's the same club every year.
Well, that's because they can't get themselves out of the hole, Woodsy. Ever since you left them in the hole, mate.
Before that, Benji got resold when I was there.
But
Robbie.
I agree with you. I'll tell you what, I was talking to someone out there today, and I said, the thing about the Tigers, they have so much interest in them at the moment, right? So many eyes on them. If they could ever turn it round, you can see how big a club they would be.
Oh,
Because,
mate. I remember
so many people are obsessed with them.
honestly, Reedy, 2010, 2011, it was a mad journey to be a part of because it was everyone's second favourite side.
Yeah,
And everyone wants them to go well.
yeah.
It's just the brand of footy they were playing at that period of time. Everyone loved watching us. It was so good.
It's quite sad, actually, with what's happening at the moment. And, yeah.
Well, on the field, you can understand what's going on.
Yep.
Happy out. Brooks out. I mean, that's two huge holes that I dare say if any
Dewey.
NRL side was out apart from maybe Penrith.
And you look at like the backup they had. They signed, I think it was Wakeham. They signed him in January or February. Will Smith was a very similar vote. He's not even in the top 30. I think he's allowed to play now because he's trying to trial. It's after round 11. So they've got blokes that haven't even done a whole preseason that are in their halves.
Woodsy, when you were there, did you, as a player, could you feel, and I know this is a weird question, but could you feel that above and management, it just felt disjointed?
Why do you think I left?
It was like one.
A lot of people think we
one
left.
mob saying one thing, another.
Yeah, a
mob
lot of people
saying
think we
another.
left because of money, which it wasn't. It was all the dramas behind the scenes.
Mm.
There were so many things happening, so many things promised. A promise at that club didn't mean much. We were trying to help the club out. We were all taking pay cuts to stay.
Mm.
And then they put deadlines on players. Look at Brooksy,
How old were you at this stage?
I was 24, 25.
So you don't want to be taking pay cuts when you're 24, 25.
We
You'll be taking
we were going
do
to.
it, weren't you?
Yeah.
We were going to.
It was you, Mitch, and Teddy, right?
Yeah.
At the time.
And
yeah.
Luke.
And Luke was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you all going to stay at one stage?
100%. Like,
Yeah.
I was basically about to re-sign before the round one. And then got a few whispers about a few things that was going to happen. I'm not going to go into that because they'll say that for another day because we could talk about this for a long
Another
time.
episode,
but
hello.
we got a few whispers about something was going to happen behind the scenes. So we just held off for a couple of weeks and it happened 3 weeks later. And then we just got no genuine support from, behind the scenes. And then they put a deadline on you, all these promises that you were given, not one of them happened.
Is this down to the fact that there's basically two families running the club? There's the Western Suburbs family and there's the Balmain family.
Yeah, it's been like that for a long time. And then the West, you look at a lot of things. I remember even the fans, like the one that used to hurt me was when you play at Campbelltown Stadium and there was an orange free zone. Like, come on, man. Are we going to be one club or are we going to, still be nitpicky about all these little things, at Leichhardt Oval? Or I remember I had Woodsy 2040 in my Instagram name. They come on, what about the West side? So I was born and bred in Leichhardt. That's the only reason why I did it. I'm not even a Balmain supporter. I'm a Manly supporter, so I couldn't care less.
I think from a boardroom and administrative level, that divide's overblown because it's very much West. West
West has
own
75%.
90%.
Oh, 90%, is it?
90%. And the only 10%
But for
Balmain
me, really,
has
I think the
was
problem-
given to them by West.
But the other thing is, really, I think West Ashfield argue with West Campbelltown as well.
Well, West Ashfield's a real power player.
Yeah,
aren't
that's
they?
they're the one that own the
90%.
majority shareholder. Yeah.
So
That Balmain is
filters down. That's why you end up, and I know it's not directly linked, but is it any surprise that you end up with us hearing about a meeting that's going to take place between management and the recruitment guy and the would-be head coach?
I'd say that there's differences between them and the Dragons. The Dragons board, there's a genuine divide there. There's
Well, their
no
structure
There's,
is-
there's no divide at board level with the West Tigers, as far as I know. I've never heard of one. And they're aligned with management. I mean, Justin Pascoe's still there. If it was any other CEO, it would have been gone probably 3 or 4 years ago. So that tells you that they're aligned in that respect. They're supportive of their CEO. So,
But the other thing is that the CEO doesn't make all the decisions. The board have got to sign off on everything.
yes, no single person.
See,
is to blame for
but
what's
that's where
happened.
Justin cops a lot of flack. He gets hammered by everyone. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that sign off on everything.
Yeah, but he often makes the recommendation to the board, and they sign off on it. Yeah,
They don't have to sign off on it, but he can he can recommend them.
you got to trust your CEO to make the right calls, don't you? If you can't trust the CEO to make the right decisions,
Yeah, I
who's
would
the wrong
agree.
CEO?
Did Scott Fulton the recruitment of Scott Fulton to do the recruitment, did that go to the board or was that purely a
No,
management
that was
decision?
to the board. Yeah, that went to the board. I think it was recommended by management to the board, and the board approved it.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. That didn't get leaked out.
Yeah. Well, in the end, it did. It came out the day before
Did.
Tim and Benji were to be told.
Oh.
It leaked, but it just leaked very late.
So it leaked right in
Whilst
time.
normally things leak.
Yeah, straight
very
away.
A late
early,
leak,
Yeah,
not an
it was
early
a
leak.
late leak.
A late leak.
Yeah. So I mean that didn't go to plan. But I mean obviously those two guys, I don't know if you can get them on the same page. I mean,
But they have to for that club to succeed.
I understand that, but
any
there's been a
club.
lot of things said privately that have got back to each other. That I think makes it very difficult for them to work together. And they've got to find a way to do it, but I just don't.
But does that make them untenable to work with each other?
Well, that's the issue they're wrestling with at the moment, and they're going to have to find a way to get around it. I don't know how they do it.
Do they did the West Tigers need someone like Scott Fulton in their club?
When they already had Warren McDonald.
Well, they had Macca there, and obviously Macca was pretty
Sheensy's-
established there. He was Sheensy's man. He was pretty tight with Benji too, isn't he?
I don't know how tight he was with Benji,
Okay.
but he was at the club previous when Benji was
Yeah.
there as a player.
Scott's got a pretty good record. He recruited some good footballers at Manly. I'm not sure whether they could have gone about. I think the issue is they went about it the wrong way. They went about it without keeping people informed. Macca didn't know about it. Tim didn't know about it. Benji didn't know about it. And
I think that's the biggest one. I think
issue.
Benji and Tim not knowing about it, that's the hardest one because he's the head. Like obviously, Tim's coach for this year and next year. You'd think he'd definitely be in the conversation because they'd be talking about getting players, whether it's ASAP or next year. And then Benji for the long run because apparently isn't he on the recruitment
Yes.
contingent
committee,
committee. So that's why you would have thought that they would have for sure been across everything.
Well, communication is the key to all successful relationships.
Apparently.
Oh, I learned that on SportsCenter, actually, when baseballers
On
used to bang into each
SportsCenter?
other and the announcer used to say that communication is the key to all successful relationships, and they used to smash into
You
each
didn't
other.
learn
in the
that at
outfield.
home with
I
your
learned,
wife?
yeah, I
Absolutely
learned
not.
that, I learned that with my missus when I went out for a couple of beers and didn't tell her.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
Wait
go
till
down.
she finds out about Mr. Wong's, baby.
Yeah, can you not talk? Oh, she doesn't know about it. Let's not
She
talk
reads
about
her
it.
credit card bill.
That's why I said we'll do it at the end of the year.
It's $2,564 at
Oh, is that
Mr.
all?
Wong's.
Oh,
Jesus. Reedy's got me a beauty.
How does it end, Reedy? Or this week, how does it end?
Oh,
It'll be
I think-
another issue next week with the West
I think,
Tigers.
I think in the short term, it'll be all right. I think it's an off-season issue they've got to resolve. Although the issue is they've got to
They get
attract
that far.
players now. So I don't.
Yeah.
But that's the
Actually-
issue at the moment. They've got Aiden Caesar that Benji wants to get. I read in the paper yesterday, and Scott doesn't want him.
Yeah.
So how are they going to
don't-
resolve it? Because
Well,
they need to get a halfback 5'8" for next
They
year.
do. Yeah, I don't. I
They're
don't
losing
know.
Brooks.
Just on that,
Hmm.
doesn't Scott have to do what Benji wants? Because Benji's the one
But
who's
then you-
next on the
but-
line about the football that they're going to play in the style.
The only problem is we don't know what Justin and Lee have promised Scott.
Yeah.
Does he come in and just say, "All right, if you get you back yourself, you do what you got to told," or does he get the full keys to the castle?
Well, the suggestion that they brought him in without consulting the coaching staff would suggest to me that he's got power
so
to
Scott
sign
thinks
guys
he's got.
he wants to sign.
Yeah, so he thinks he's got all the power. Then Benji thinks he's got all the power. This is why they're getting clashing heads
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's a soap
It's
opera.
messy, isn't
That's
it?
it. No, that's a
It's
soap
very
opera
messy.
right
God bless
there.
the West
But
Tigers.
like Reddy said, you'd think that they would be on the same. Like you want them to be on the same page because Benji's got a style that he wants to play, and there's certain players that he wants to sign,
Has to be.
and that's what Scott's got to go out and get. So
Has to be.
it's a tough one.
Suspensions, guys. Geez, the match review committee had a fun last 24 hours, 48 hours, didn't they? So RCG's copped 4 to 5. Tino's copped 3 to 4.
Tino copped 3 to 4 for that little.
Mm-hmm. Sevo copped 3 to
didn't see the
4
Tino.
on
Was that a
something that
shoulder
was
charge, Tino?
initially not seen.
It's an elbow to the face. It must be.
Shoulder charge. It was a shoulder charge.
Sure, that's
Shoulder
what I
charge.
asked. Was it the one with
No, it
Mitch? I
wasn't
was going
the
to say.
elbow. I
Oh,
didn't see the shoulder charge.
Jared Wallace 3 to 4. So there's
yeah,
some
Jared Wallace was.
hefty
it's a
numbers.
I know Jared Wallace. I watched that. I watched all of them. Jared Wallace was hard because it's one of those situations where you're defending right next to a player, and he had Spencer Leniu running at him. He couldn't really wrap his arm around, but
Because there's another bloke.
yeah,
beside
so there's
him.
another bloke
Yeah.
there, so he sort of looked to go. But if you look at a normal shoulder charge, is straight down.
Yeah.
He had a bit of
arm
arm
in it.
move.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one.
Obviously, you see them all the time, though, at the moment. With the you go, oh, that's going to be a shoulder charge, but then you just see the little
Last
move.
second,
arm.
last second. It's just you just got to make that little bit of an effort.
Yeah.
The Sevo one that was just clear head on shoulder.
Yeah.
that was that you knew that was going to get a bit of I think it was the second replay we watched. Geez, and then didn't help with all the sweat and the spray come off the Fafita's head.
It was like a Rocky movie,
Oh, it
wasn't it?
looked quite worse. Poor, RCG. You got to have a bit of care for the player.
It was just a brain fart.
It was a brain fade. He knew straight away. Like if he had his arms going down to the ground, you could say it was an accident. But there was no.
I felt a bit for RCG.
You do, but there was no care for the player reading.
Yeah.
It was just one of those like split second of the moment. He's not known for that type of player.
No, that's what I
but
mean, yeah.
He didn't miss. You seen? I think it was the young hooker off the bench from Newcastle went up to Titans in the off season. What was his name? He just
Chris Randall.
Chris Randall. Yeah, he just winced in pain straight away.
Yeah.
So you knew something was wrong. The ref.
That's been
penalised.
called a dog act.
Dog act. I think it was just
that's a bit
a
over the top.
brain
Yeah,
phase.
See, I
that's
have
a bit
a-
over the top.
I have an issue with the term dog act.
You've never seen a dog drop its knees into
Dogs,
anyone,
dogs
have
are
you?
wonderful animals. They're loyal.
They
They're
bite
kind.
you, run away, and wag at you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They
you're
poo.
right.
Yeah, well, who doesn't?
Let's turn on cats. Let's call it a cat act.
Yeah, cat act. Yeah, cats. You can't
I
trust
don't like
cats.
cats. Terrible.
Yeah, it's a cat act. I say out with dog
Yeah.
act.
Bring in cat act.
Cat act. Anyway, sorry.
It's got a ring to it too. Cat act.
got down a path I didn't think it was going to go down there. But back to the footy. Para, I mean, massive. They just simply had to win that because of their run home. I mean, they had a horrible, horrible start to the season with their draw, playing those teams
And they only
off the
just
bye
lost
and-
a lot of them too. The Golden
Yeah,
Point
yeah,
round
yeah.
one, just getting beat by the Sharkies. Like you got to,
Yeah,
mate. They win a couple of them. They're heaps further up the ladder.
everyone's saying, they're going to get better, they're going to get better. They have got better, but they've got to make sure of things on the run home. But
no Dylan Brown.
Yep.
Yeah.
For quite a
Round
fair 7 weeks.
23
I
comes
think
back.
it is, yeah.
So
Ridge is a big loss for him.
Huge, because he's their main man in the middle. Like, you look what he did for New South Wales the other
Yeah,
night.
he's outstanding.
Just straightens you up.
Yeah.
I
Big fan.
called for it last Thursday, but coronial inquest into why he didn't play for New South Wales.
Can we
for
not
so
talk
long.
about it? Because I just think Mr. Wong is every time.
Yes.
But you'd
You know, back
imagine
on that, just on Origin for a second.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Please.
Freddie
go.
comes out and says blokes aren't, sticking up for New South Wales. Mate, I had a Mr. Wong's on the line. I was that confident we're going to
Yeah, I
win.
know.
I
Come
think
on,
is that
Freddie.
you?
Yeah, it wasn't directed at you, the former player.
Oh, well, mate,
Ryan,
if he's
you
directed
think?
at me, he's kidding himself because, mate, I had a clear-cut bet with the old Read man.
You
It
did
was,
bag him a lot.
it was the old silver fox who
You
from
did
New South
bag-
Wales. He lives up in Queensland now. I think he was having a
Oh,
pop
okay,
out.
oh,
Good.
okay.
Oh, you bagged him a bit too, would you?
Please, mate. Bag, I was keen we were going to win 3-0.
But if you're buying stock in a team to make the 8, you'd be a little more confident with your money if you're down the Parramatta path and say a Cronulla Sharks at the moment. What the hell has gone on there?
Yeah, but they win the games they need to win, Cronulla. That's what they're a bit different, right? They don't lose to teams below them. They tend to win the games they should win, and that'll get you to the 8, generally.
Have you seen their run home?
Is it difficult?
They've got Penrith, they've got Canberra, they've got Souths, they've got Manly.
That's a real tough one.
There's a win. No, honestly, when I was at Cronulla, the worst side we used to hate playing was Manly. You got the worst record against them.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If they can't beat anyone in the top 8, they don't deserve to be there to start with.
No,
I'd be
that-
happy to
that-
see them drop out.
That's a fair point.
because they got blown away yesterday. Let's
Oh,
be
it's
honest.
embarrassing. They got smashed. They're a good football team. The
They
Warriors,
did,
though. Really good
mate. The
football
Warriors are they're calm. They know, like they're comfortable in the space they're at. Have you seen Sean Johnson play that good in a long
team. Man,
time?
he's been so good.
Just
So
his
good.
kicking
Did
game,
you-
his
Did
control.
you play with him at Cronulla?
Yeah, I played with him for 3 years there. Yeah, the thing with Sean there, which it's been away from his family. I would struggle with that too. Like I love having my close knit friends around, all that. He's moved from the country.
Is he including us in that, do you think?
I think so.
I miss Reedy. I've got to be with Reedy at least once a week because it makes me feel better about myself. But honestly, like he had a baby. He's just had his second one on the weekend. And then you got to remember the COVID year when he did first go to the Warriors. They were based at Redcliffe.
Yeah.
And then his missus was still in New Zealand because she was playing netball at the time. So that's pretty tough.
Great forward pack, though. I mean, Fanua
Oh,
Blake,
Fanua
Fanua
Blake.
Blake's outstanding. I'll tell you who's been really good. Mitch Barnett.
Mate, I can't believe Newcastle let
How
him go.
tough does that bloke
He's
play?
one of my favourite players. And then what they do well with him, they start him on the edge
Yep.
and then move him in the forward. Then you got Tohu Harris.
Yeah, brilliant.
One
Wade
of the guys.
Egan's been great.
I was about to say, Wade
Yeah.
Egan, I was talking to Matt Lodge, who's just come to us at training, and he's got such a massive rap on him. He goes, like, there's so many hookers that are going well, but he goes, this kid is unbelievable.
Back to recruitment. They've obviously got their
Yeah.
recruitment
They
right.
nailed it.
They're
Peter
on the same
O'Sullivan.
page.
Great Peter O'Sullivan.
No, but in the last 12 months as
Yeah.
well, when Andrew Webster, I think they announced him
They
before.
didn't have yesterday. Murata Niokore,
Yeah.
Bunty Afoa,
Yeah.
Jazz Tavanga.
Yeah.
Mate, they've still got a few players that have come back from injury as well.
So they announced Webster before the end of last season.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
It's
So
like
he
back,
could get
back end of last year.
he could get going with a bit of a plan about what needed to be sprinkled on top of what he was going to walk
Yeah.
into and
But
play the style accordingly.
The other thing that Webby did, he spent a couple of years there being assistant coach.
Yeah.
So he knows what the identity of there is. He knows the background, what drives those boys. And apparently, like I remember when it first happened, a lot of blokes were calling for Sean Johnson to retire at the back end of last year.
Yeah.
And there was a conversation between Webby and Shawnee. And I remember
Did
talking.
they go back as well? Did
Yeah,
they-
from when.
Sharkies?
No,
No,
from when Webby
the
was
Warriors
there
in the first place, yeah.
So I think Webby left the Tigers and went to the Warriors, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Another one the Tigers let go, but mate, they just got a great relationship.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I remember talking to Sean about it. He was so comfortable and so excited for Webby to come.
So I got a message from a mate in New Zealand in the last week. I said, "Oh, what's it like over there? What's the Warriors vibe?" And he goes, "Mate, they are the hottest ticket in the whole country. Like, forget Super Rugby. Okay, All Blacks is always going to be All
25,000
Blacks.
yesterday.
It's an event every game.
Yep.
Like everyone wants to go." And he said at the end of it, if Andrew Webster ran for Prime Minister today, he probably wins.
Yeah. Well,
He's
he's
that
a
popular
laydown was
over
there for Coach of the Year, I think.
Oh,
The way things
Yeah.
stand right now, he should win in the canter.
Hmm.
It's great for the game. Obviously, they've been starved of footy over there. I think they've had 5 crowds in a row over 20,000, wasn't it? I think I heard that during the commentary yesterday.
It's so loud too when you
Yeah.
listen.
Have you got to go there at the end of the year?
Yeah, we play there in about 5-6
Oh,
weeks.
sick.
Well,
But you know
starved
what?
of footy over
But you
there.
know the
It's
other
been
thing,
great.
we're excited to go over there. You speak about the hottest ticket in town, mate. You're going to have a huge crowd. It's gonna be-
Yeah.
I watched it on the Sharks Instagram page. They got a welcoming ceremony as they go off the bus, like little
Oh,
things
yeah.
like that. It's It's massive to go over there and play in
Well,
front of
Seems
that.
let you off the leash down at Auckland Harbour there. What's it called, that place? Cowboys and Indians or something? The bar down
What are you
there?
talking about?
If you wouldn't
Denny
go.
Doolan's down the viaduct.
They let you off.
One of the great joints.
joints.
Oh, it just depends how you play.
Yeah, okay.
What's the best place around the country that coach says, righto, boys, you can go out for a night and you get the most excitement in
So,
here because you go,
The one place that you love the best, you always look on the calendar.
Yeah.
The Mad Cow.
Townsville?
Townsville.
Of course.
There's a bloke up there called Red Dog. Legend. He owns the pub
yeah.
and he looks after the boys. The out of towners are the best.
So they look after, even though Townsville's a pretty hectic place on a Saturday
Yeah,
night.
it's hectic. You don't want to play on a Friday because it's a little bit quieter at the city centre. You want to play on a Saturday night when it's just, they're the ones you want to go, all right, missus, just going to go have an early night tonight. Boom. Next day you fly home and then, geez, it's a tough flight the next day.
Yeah,
I remember going up there for a game for Fox once, and it was actually a Manly game. And firstly, I got the warning of when you walk into the casino after the game, because that's where we were staying, it looks like the Star Wars bar, the Cantina bar.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that the old casino or the new
it was
one?
a while back, because Jamie Lyon was playing, and I remember
yep.
this because Jamie Lyon got on the plane without sleeping.
He's not the only one.
He was
And he won't be the first. He won't be the last.
he was boisterous for the first half hour of that flight, and then all of a sudden you look around and he's
You know what we do? You just put the sunnies on.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson look
Plenty of
in the
experience for that.
courtroom. Yeah, and he was out like a light. So yeah, enjoy.
It's
So
one
enjoy
of
the
the
night
great
out.
players. Oh, anywhere, mate. You go down to Melbourne. It's just good to be around like different,
If you
different
win.
scenes.
If
Yeah,
you win.
only if you win. You don't. I refuse to go out if I lose.
Do you?
Really?
Yeah, I won't go. I just sit in my room. Yeah,
Just strop, sit in the corner.
I just
Stropping.
24 hours of dwelling, and then you got to move on. You got, mate. You care about your performance.
Bit like Mr. Wong's bet you lost.
Yeah,
Just
that's-
soaked for 24 hours.
I was filthy.
No.
Well,
I
how were
watched
you?
that because I knew Reedy was just going, and it was like we were never in that contest again.
Nah,
Too.
you're
Well,
gone.
what about on Saturday
Told
night?
you.
You ruined my date with my wife on the hill there.
Right, that
after getting
happens to me
beat.
all the time.
What happened against the Cowboys?
Mate, we just didn't show up.
Mm.
Well,
They're a
we,
good footy team,
we
though,
did.
which
No,
is-
sorry, we did
they're
show
a
up.
very
The
good
first
footy
15
team.
minutes was pretty good. Like we were in the arm wrestle. As Reedy said, like you don't take anything away from the opposition. Like they've won 5 in a row. They've beaten Melbourne. They've beaten Penrith. They've beaten the top sides. Like it's not that they've beat any easy beats. I think they bashed the Roosters.
Yeah.
And mate, Drinkwater, like every time you think you've got him, or like you're watching defensively what they're doing, out of nowhere he just disappears. And mate, they just throw shape for shape, and it's a hard side to defend against. And a couple of our errors that we gave away, we gave them too many opportunities. You know, we spoke about it off air. The 6 agains. They're a side that you give them a 6 again. It's like touch footy. They just come to life and then they just fly around, but they play defensively. Their defense is really good too.
Really watching it at the ground, they're quick.
Oh, yeah. They got so many weapons.
They are so
Okay,
quick
yeah.
through the
And
right.
And then
through the
if
middle.
you lose a little, like, we're watching the review today, like you lose one play of the ball, Valentine Holmes just comes flying in off his centre and they just recognise it so well.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
being coached to, like the detail in their attack is just, mate, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It'll end up being one of the greatest. And it looks like they will. And Gus, fair call to the Oracle. He's called
Yeah.
it about 6 weeks ago.
I think
that they're
Joey
on the-
called it as
they're on
well.
the go.
Yeah.
Joey, he just noticed things straight away that had turned the corner. But, geez, I'd love to know what the hell went on in the first 10, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Injuries and suspensions. Jeremiah Nenu missed 7-8 weeks.
Yeah.
He had a couple of hip drops.
But they weren't just, like you guys were missing a few the other night. You
Yeah.
hung on at 19-8. On another day, they put 40 on you.
yeah.
But
They are a club that
they
can
were
get in a
getting
roll.
smashed.
Yeah.
Look at that bench. Tamalolo's on the bench.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
what
but
he brings.
Drinkwater's the bandage.
Yeah,
He's clicked in the gear. Like he
I
started
personally
the
think if
season a bit
Drinky goes
slowly,
down, they
Drinkwater.
will struggle because, mate, like I said, like he's a bit like Nico Hines. They sit behind the ruck and they just count your numbers. And mate, he is so good at it. Like as soon as he sees a late retreat or too many on a short side, he just goes the open. Or if there's not enough on it, he swings. Like he's an out and out footballer.
He's been a great success story, Scott Drinkwater. He was in Melbourne, wasn't he, way back when?
He's from the Central Coast.
Well, he was the
originally.
fullback.
Yeah,
he was going to be the first fullback,
after
and then he
Billy.
did his peck in
Yeah.
the Leeds Rhinos Challenge Cup game.
Yeah, ended up in Townsville, and
It was like a
he
mid-season
might
move.
win the
to-
Dally M the way he's going.
I reckon him or
Is
Sean
he in the
Johnson.
mix?
Him
Payne
or
With
Sean
Dally M?
Johnson.
Payne Haas has gone pretty well.
Well,
He's a
he's
few
got
weeks
few
off,
injuries
but-
though now.
Yeah, but what kind of lead would he have got? He
Yeah.
would
Yeah, what about Sean Johnson? Every time
Yeah.
the
He was up
Warriors
there.
win.
probably between those three.
Yeah,
say?
yeah, I would have thought so.
Harry Grant.
Yeah, maybe.
Can Cowboys win the comp?
Oh, no doubt at all. I think they can, because we've seen they won 5 in a row, 6 in a row. They can string together wins. So once they're in there, it's so congested too. Are there an outside chance making the top 4 still? Haven't
Yeah.
looked at
I
the
was talking
table
to,
lately, but
I was talking to Chad Townsend after the game. He goes, the best thing for us has been the origin period. they've all come back from Queensland camp just flying.
Yeah.
There's 4 points out of the top 4. That's a big ask.
Yeah, but
It's
you
hard
look at
to
the
make it
blokes
there.
you got to look at the draw around it, Reedy.
Yeah.
The teams
It's
that they
still
play
hard.
against.
If you're not in the top 4,
It's hard to win the comp.
It's hard to win the comp.
Manly, Woodsy.
They're
Where
not
exactly
they're not in the
Manly are
top
at.
4, Adam.
I can recognise this, Brent.
We deserve to be where we're at.
Yeah.
The way we performed was disappointing. You know, we can use all these excuses. We haven't got Turbo, but we've still got other players that have filled in their spots that have done a good job. It's just our lack of attention to detail in certain spots of the games where we want to be better. We haven't been, and that's what's really letting us down.
It's a bit clunky in attack.
That's
at
it.
times,
But
really clunky, I thought.
We've been clunky all year.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like, people want to use Turbo as an excuse. It's not an excuse. We were clunky when we had Turbo. I'm not sure what it is. Wasn't there for the off season, obviously the preseason. Sorry, but yeah, it's just frustrating. Look, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves with our attack because we're not getting good results. Not that we're scoring tries. Like, we're not getting quick play of the balls, or we're not building pressure with repeat sets. It's come down to us. Like, are we running the leads on right players and little
You
things
did
like
well
that.
to stay in the fight, though. You showed a bit of grit, I thought.
But that's every team should have that,
Yeah.
Brady.
but not
like,
every team does, would you?
Yeah, but that's, as a rugby league player, that's what you want to
Yeah.
be known. You want to know that your effort's there every week.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be something you look
But
at.
it felt like the effort was there.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
we're a side that just keeps we'll keep showing up, but just a little couple of areas, if we can just fine tune them, it'll really help our game.
At one point in that second half, I did say to my lovely bride Rachel, look, this has every chance of getting out of hand, so we could actually go to the Mexican restaurant we're going to after this and get an early margarita before we sit down
See,
for dinner.
these type Manly supporters we don't like, mate. Come
Mate,
on.
I stuck out to the end
Beautiful.
because you guys stuck it out.
Beautiful.
But if you got blown away and it was, 30-8 with 20 to go, see,
And you know one
for a
thing, like, we watched,
margarita.
I don't know if a lot of other players in our team seen it, but just the fight in that last minute and a half. Yeah, the game was over. It was 19-8. But they made a line break, but you just see the numbers around. Like, Cherry Evans comes from the other side of the field. Just the form that he's in. Like, he's sometimes single-handedly keeps us in the game just with his kicking game.
Yep.
He's been so good, and they're the little areas that people don't notice. The game was over. It was gone, but just his little effort area just inspires other players around you.
Tell you who went all right during the Origin period.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
before you go there?
Yeah.
Mexican. What's your Mexican restaurant you go
We
to?
went to a new one in Monavale.
Did you? Was it
Rosa.
Oh,
Outstanding.
Monavale's a bit far from my place.
Little-
Sorry.
It's not cheap, but you don't mind it not being
Really?
cheap. The food
Okay, I
was
love Mexican.
fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway.
Very
I
good.
like cheap. Mr. Wong's isn't bad.
Hey, Penrith, my goodness,
mate.
the 5 out of 6 during Origin period, resting all those players, it's
I was
uncanny.
intrigued by the Dolphins picking Hammer in the centres, though, starting Cody
same.
Nicarima at fullback. Could have made the difference in the end. It was
But
an intriguing selection.
I thought Nicarima was good early on.
He was good, but the Hammers
I know. Hammer's been
is
on
a good
fire.
player.
Hammer's the hammer.
But Penrith are unbelievable. They just there's something in the water out that way
A
because they
well-drilled
just stick
side.
guys in and they just perform.
How
But it
good
goes
is
Jenkins.
Isaac Targo?
Oh, he killed it, didn't he? Made life so easy for that young. Is it Jenkins? that played
Yeah,
the wing?
I
Yeah.
feel sorry for young Sean O'Sullivan. There's a couple of times he was like chasing back, like mad effort areas just to get there. And the poor bloke got pushed back from Leota, got pushed back from Takeo. He's putting himself in the picture, but just couldn't finish that last tackle.
So you get to moments like these, little periods like this, 5 out of 6 with all those players out, the depth coming in. We know about the
They had a sin
nursery.
bin in the game as well.
We know about the nursery and know about if you're looking for a blueprint about a club, and I'm looking at the first lead item of Monday Scrum today in West Tigers about what you want to be, how you want to do it, recruit accordingly,
They
and
had that
develop
coach too.
accordingly. Like,
Well, they're a bit blessed though, right? Because not every club's got a nursery like they've got. Melbourne used to be the prototype, right? And they didn't have a junior nursery,
Tigers
really.
have got Balmain and Campbelltown.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think if they wanted to replicate, if the Tigers wanted to replicate a system, that's the system you probably
Penrith have gone to the
replicate
Central
now.
West to get players.
Yeah.
Liam Martin. Like, there's ways you can do it.
Isaiah.
Dylan Edwards from
Bathurst, isn't he?
Dorigo.
Dorigo.
Up north. I mean, like, if you, it's,
Well, you know what?
it is hard to do.
You know what you never hear at Penrith?
What?
Boardroom
Correct.
drama off the field.
Yeah.
Ructions in management, or at least you haven't.
Not
since,
for a
obviously,
while.
when Gus
Yeah.
was there were some issues.
But he had to make some
since then-
tough calls,
Yeah,
and
he
he
did.
was the one that started the moving on
Yeah.
everybody. Remember when he moved on Luke Lewis and Tim Grant, Michael Jennings?
Michael
Everyone's
Jennings,
going,
yeah.
"What's happening here?" Lachlan Coote.
And he fixed up their pathways as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is from
Wasn't he
back in
the one
Gus era.
that built the first centre of excellence out there as well? He's got to take a bit of rap for
Yeah.
it. And remember,
I'm not saying.
remember Buzzy Boy used to get in about the 5-year plan.
What do you mean used to get into it?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it was always the 5. It took about 6 or 7, and now they they win the comp this year. They're the best side that's probably ever played.
Dynasty. Can we call them a dynasty?
Dynasty,
Absolutely. Can't we?
Like who goes? No one's gone 3 in a row.
No.
But when you're out there, Woodsy, playing against Penrith,
Yep.
and you could have James Fisher-Harris run at you, and it would, like all their plays, how they do things, the speed at what they do it. But then they bring in some, bloke that you'd never heard of who's played New South Wales Cup for 2 years. He comes in, gets his chance. Is there that much of it? Do you notice a huge difference?
No, mate. It's just
quality,
they're just a well-drilled side. They all just stick to their role. Like good mate of mine, Matt Eisenhuth. He was the lock on the weekend. He just, he doesn't have the leg speed like Isaiah Yeo, but he just plays the same. Like plays direct, goes for the out the back shape. Jack Cogger's there. Not even Nathan Cleary calling the shapes. They just know what where everyone has to be and at what time. Like what I said to you is a couple of areas of us. Like our supports have been down. They're never down. They're always on the money. A bloke I play with, Scott Sorensen, he was a fringy at Cronulla. Now he's their starting back row every week. That's won 2 comps in a row. And I said, mate, could you have the opportunity to go to another club? He goes, yeah, I could have went for more money to another club, but I know we're going to win out here. And I just love the culture. The boys, like every Monday they get in there. They got a wrestle room session, it's tough, but they get around it. They're going to wrestle for 40, 45 minutes, but then they get on the field. They start, they train hard and everyone's accountable for everything out there. He loves the culture.
Yeah. Well, I don't know to change much.
It's hard to see anyone stopping them again this year.
Well, I reckon South's the only ones. Or
their
Cowboys.
issue is
getting them on the field.
South might be in the top 4 the way they're going.
But if South can get, if South can get everybody on the field, I think they can win it from outside the 4.
Brisbane?
You know what? Brisbane tend to worry them because of the pace, the speed. It's like a styles matchup.
Yeah.
You look at over the last couple of years, every time Brisbane have played against Penrith, they always give them a run for money. Well, they beat them round 1 this year.
Yep.
Even a couple of times like Brisbane, because they're so like young blokes, the energy and just Adam Reynolds' kicking game. It's a match that I reckon Penrith wouldn't want to play against them in the semis.
Yeah, it's tight, but I mean, you said at the start of the season, Penrith will be on top after Origin. You go, really? After the year on
and if
year
Nathan
on
Cleary's,
year?
and if Nathan Cleary's done a hamstring,
Yeah. Is he back next week, right?
Well, he was left on the 22, wasn't he, this weekend?
I looked at. I did watch the aftermatch comment, and Ivan said he was almost going to play this week.
Yeah.
Just giving that one
more. That's a handy
week.
little addition to coming to your team next week, isn't it? Goes all right.
Oh, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
oh, mate, he's the best player in the game.
WTF time.
Now, the WTF moment.
So, gents, what do we got? What's our
I'll go
WTF
first.
moment
I'll go
of the
first
week?
because I don't know what you boys have got. You're a bit of a Masters golf man.
Masters, yeah.
Yeah. I was watching. It wasn't the Masters, but there's a celebrity one on the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, the hole in one. You see it?
That was unbelievable.
Bloke's on fire on the basketball court. Like even when I was watching him go hole to hole from on the golf course, he was doing like backhanded shots, and he hit like literally he turned behind and just flicked it. He hit the rim from about nearly 30 metres, and then he gets a hole in one.
Yeah. And then takes off.
And just sprinted off. I don't know about golf etiquette, but mate, come on.
You don't
Are you allowed
run
to do that?
You shouldn't have run on the green.
But I would have done the same thing. If I won a hole in one, I'd be going.
I thought he was going to crash tackle the flag stick at one stage.
Mate, what can't that bloke do?
Yeah.
Surely that's a WTF.
Yeah, that was good, yeah. Because I haven't thought of one. I'm lost.
Oh, you haven't thought one?
No, I didn't.
I got one for
you go on.
We can expand on this one.
You go for one.
My WTF moment came actually late last week when I read this quote from Phil Rothfield, who was giving a rap to Michael Chappis.
Oh.
I don't want to hear the quote.
But Phil Gould was in the in the midst of the
I
conversation.
do want to hear it. What was the quote? Come on.
The quote was like, Buzz was having a crack
Good
at
young
Gus,
journo.
for having a go at Chammy on 100% footy because Chammy got involved in this conversation about the Arthur Laundy conversation about Tino owning a pub and all that. Anyway, that's in the past. But the very fact that Buzz would prefer to side with the arch enemy on the other side of the media fence in Chammy rather than Gus. That's a bit of a WTF moment.
Yeah, that tells you how much he just loathes Gus, doesn't it?
What's gone on there?
Oh.
I thought they were kind of semi on the same page at one stage. And
Gus and him?
Yeah.
I think they sort of had a little
memorandum of
ceasefire
understanding.
for a while.
I love watching Buzz. Like, did you watch Buzz and Brandy?
Yes.
Oh, that was tense. That was very tense.
What do you mean, Buzz? What are you trying to say?
Very tense.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Well, but Brandy traditionally has always played Bazball against Buzz. He always goes on the attack.
Do you blame him?
Yeah, well, hey, makes it, I mean, I'm sure the producers there at 360 Towers, Reedy, would have been over the moon
Oh, they love
with something like that.
Let's not going to go
Frothing
to
over
Saturday at Belmore
it. Yeah.
and the Josh Reynolds Day.
Yeah.
Great day. Josh Reynolds, honour him. Rename the hill the Josh Reynolds Hill.
Yep, nice.
By the time the game kicked off, the sign had blown off.
Oh, no.
Oh, no way.
All you could see was SHRE. Any chance? Look, honestly, it's not that hard. Get some glue or something.
But what a moment. Like, great bloke.
Oh, great. Was
Deserved
great
every moment of
it.
it.
Didn't take away from the moment, but I just remember looking up there one minute it was the Josh Reynolds Hill. Then it was like Osher. What was his name?
Osher Ginsberg.
No, Osher. Remember people there?
Oh, Josh Holloway.
O'Shea, hello.
Believe it, the guy from the...
It was like the Osher LA Hill.
O'Shea, hello. That was the best too, that.
But no, that was a great afternoon. Great afternoon for Josh Reynolds.
There are many blokes in footy who would say, midweek, I'm retiring, but I'm playing New South Wales Cup and get a reception like that.
Yes, I know. No, there
Not
isn't.
many.
No.
Not
Oh,
like
would
would you?
Maybe at Lockhart Juniors.
Oh, mate. I might come out at Blacktown if
I
it
appreciate
happens,
it. Thanks,
mate.
mate. Thanks.
I'll come
Let's
out.
hope they're playing at Brookie that week.
It's a bit of a drive, actually.
Cracking bloke. He handled it really well, Josh. Had his family on the field. It was a really nice moment.
It
You know
was.
what?
Really great moment.
He's a family friend of mine. Like, he's known my wife and her family. They're same junior
Why
club.
weren't you there? You know your mate Big Dave Clement was there.
He was playing
Oh,
it.
you could have come out beforehand.
No, we were the next game.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
come on, mate. If
It was reserve grade.
if it was 7:30 game, I would have
Like
went there.
Belmore to Brookvale's, an hour and 15.
It's not
Took me 50 minutes, mate, to
My
drive
wife's
home.
brothers were there.
Anyway,
so,
Dave
yeah.
Clement was there.
Yeah.
Your mate Davey boy.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was
You
there.
got an invoice for it, didn't you?
Yeah, of course.
That's why. And
I
Clem,
ain't going to Belmore for free, I'll tell you
Clem
now.
played the night before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all right, mate. But he's a good role model for the game.
Yeah,
you know, a
cracking-
bloke that you
cracking
hate playing against, you love playing with. So very proud of Josh.
He saved one of those great Josh Reynolds moments during the game, though, when someone's boot came off and he just hurled it 20 metres
Oh, yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the best one was when I was listening on air when I was driving the game, and Jimmy Graham asked him a question about. Remember that one when he against the Gold Coast Titans and he
Yes.
flicked the ball, just running out, and he,
Yes.
yeah, oh mate, Great
Ran into the
explosion.
sheds.
Oh mate,
They blew a penalty because you
yeah,
can't.
they're the best. He's the best of the group.
As Roy and HG called him on the weekend, an ornament to the game. Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, yes,
He's
he
an
is.
ornament to the game. Quick one before Reedy's mail. It might be, I don't know, intertwined with Reedy's mail because Reedy might be able to tell us more. Ricky Stuart given permission by the Raiders to coach New South Wales if the job becomes available. My question is that story getting out a little disrespectful to Brad Fittler?
Well, not really. Brad's future's been talked about for weeks now, since the series started. So
He's also said he wants to coach again.
you're going to have names thrown about.
Pop up.
That's the business, right? I mean, this is the bit that Brad, I think, hasn't really grasped. When you're not winning, your future becomes a discussion point. That's life. And it's magnified because Origins is played over an 8-week period, right? Everything's condensed. So everything becomes bigger than it would normally. So, you know, I think we have names thrown about for the next 4 weeks or so because they won't make a decision for about a month.
Why?
What they do. Well, because they want to do a review of the series and they want to sit back, take a breath, do a review, work out what the issues were, what they could have done better, what they could have done worse, then make a call on the coach.
Mm.
You know, if Brad's smart, he would come to them with, I don't have an issue with Brad doing it again. People think I do because I've been critical. I think if Brad does it again, great. But he needs to be smart about what he does and in terms of who he brings with him.
Yeah.
And the template was that final game where he had Ivan Cleary in the box with him. He needs to go to the New South Wales Rugby League and he needs to say, I want to do it again and Ivan's going to help me. And if he comes with that, give him the job.
Yeah.
Give him the job. And if it's not Ivan, get Jason Riles or get
Why don't you get Ivan and Jason Rolls?
Ivan and
That's what
Jason
I'd
Riles, even
do,
better.
yeah.
It's a dream team.
Even chuck in someone like Boyd Cordner that's only recently out of the game.
It's not that hard.
You look
We've
at
solved
Queensland.
all their problems.
Oh, there you
but
go.
you look
Dave
at-
Trodden, if you're listening.
You look at Queensland, they've got Thurston, they've got Smith, you know, Slater's coach, they've got Hene,
You know
Nate
what?
Miles.
Why not ask Ricky? If Ricky's keen to do it, why doesn't Brad go to Ricky and say, look,
Well, they'd have a good
you're
relationship.
all with me?
Who knows?
You know what I mean?
We can discuss it for the next month then. Great to hear.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Here's the mailman.
Reedy's Mail.
Got a bit of Tigers mail. I was out of training today.
Oh, we'll top
Yeah.
and tail it with
So
Tiger, shall we?
firstly, some good news. Luke
Yeah.
Brooks, he was running quite freely today. doing a lot of kicking. He won't be back this week, though.
Yeah,
Likely.
I rang him and said, mate, just get yourself right for pre-season.
Oh, wow.
I'm joking.
They're only paying him $1 million a year.
I'm joking.
But he should be good as gold for next week, Luke Brooks. But he looked really good. He was running the entire session, about an hour he was running, and he looked in pretty good nick. Sean Bloor talked to us today, a couple of weeks ago, or a month or so ago. Sean Bloor has been linked with other clubs, and he said he actually went to Benji and Tim Sheens and approached them about it and said, look, am I still wanted here? And they said to him, you are a Tiger. He's got a year left in his deal. They said, we want you to be here for that
He's been
year
one of their best players the last 2 weeks.
Well, there's a lot of mail going around about a month ago. They were happy for him to go.
Well, remember they said it was him, Dewey, and all that. They
Yes.
got told to go. But, mate, his form, I think it was against Cronulla off the bench. He changed the game. And even on the weekend, I think Joey said, this guy's been impressive last couple of weeks. His first carry got him straight in the front foot.
Yeah, so he took it up with Benji and Tim because he was concerned when he read that. I think it was our column, actually, we wrote it in. And they said to him, no, mate, you're not going anywhere. You're here to stay.
Yeah.
So Woodsy's right. He has been one of their better players in recent weeks.
Or one for the recruitment committee out there at Tigers to...
Let's just hope
nail down.
Benji and Fultz can agree on it.
Got another one for the recruitment committee. Involves a couple of your mates, the Farnu boys.
Oh, yeah, the boys.
Decision day this week. We'll have a decision this week from the Farnus and what they do next year. They may even move. Well, I think they will move mid-season.
Now?
Well, August 7,
Yeah.
cut off. Oh, you're not happy?
They got time.
Good players, man.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
players.
they're going, Woodsy, I'm sad to say.
Oh, I'm
They
shattered,
might
mate.
last the season,
Crazy.
but they'll be gone next year. And
Absolutely
I think the
crazy.
West Tigers, I think all the drama at the West Tigers has caused some real problems there in terms of recruiting those two guys. I think their management's got some genuine concerns about the path the club's heading down, but I still think because of the relationship between Scott and the agent and the fact
Their brothers also at Tigers too.
brothers there and their families are all in Sydney, I think they'll stay in Sydney and go to the West Tigers. Dolphins have had a red hot go at them. I think they've offered them 4-year deals. Wayne Bennett's met with them, but I suspect they'll stay in Sydney and join the West Tigers.
Yep. Fantastic work by Manly to develop two really good players and then let them play for someone else.
And a lot of talk about Latu, the fight. I reckon the back row is going to be a superstar.
You see him with his hands.
Samuela is just, he can play tough, he can play pretty, and he's got such a good football brain,
Have you
mate.
seen much of Latu at all?
I haven't seen too much, but I've seen him at training. Obviously, I haven't seen too much of him in the game.
Yep.
Freaky skill, pace, good time and temperament.
Yep.
But I've played a couple of games with Big Samuela.
Yeah.
Mate, he's going to be a superstar.
Really?
He's going to be a huge loss for us at Manly.
Did he captain the under 19s?
Yeah, he captained 19s, yeah.
yeah.
It was funny. He's like Latu copped one around the head, and Big Samuela, the older brother, come flying in.
got the pics, didn't he?
It's good to see.
That.
Yeah, a bit of news at South as well. Kieran Kalamatongi's close to a new deal there. So he's got the same agent as Payne Haas, but he won't be going to market. He will.
Good on him.
likely
Would have
extend
got a
it.
nice little bonus as well for playing Origin if his manager's done their job
He
properly.
had one, yeah. I think he did have one.
I reckon he would have been there Origin 1 if he wasn't injured.
Yeah.
He deserves to. He's thereabouts the last couple of years.
Yeah. Good player.
Exactly. That's the mailbag.
That's it, yeah.
Fair enough. It's going to be recruitment the next couple of weeks, I think. The mailbag, isn't it?
Busy
Bit of
time.
bit of movement coming, you think?
I think there will be, yeah.
August 7, is it? I thought it was August 1.
7. No, it's
Okay.
August 7. So, yeah, I think there will be. I think it's a bit silent at the moment, but I reckon it'll pick up.
In football, you can't play for more than 2 clubs in a season, Woodsy. Can you, like, not trying to get you out of Manly,
Why are you
but are you
asking
going to
him?
go for the 3?
Why are you asking
Manly.
him?
Love Manly.
He's had about 100 clubs in his
Manly's
career.
been outstanding. Love Manly.
Well,
Gentlemen.
you love me. You were going to live there for a while, weren't you?
Apparently had a
Yeah, the
unit,
unit there.
according to you blokes.
Woodsy, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Love ya.
Reedy, you too.
Cheers.
That was the Monday Scrum. Have a good one.